Hey guys, so today we're checking out the Rugged Grille Guard in black, fitting all 2016 and newer Toyota Tacomas. So this is going to be great for the Tacoma owner who's looking for some solid front end protection without the hassle and the cost of upgrading to a new front bumper. Now this is going to provide all-around protection to the front end of your Tacoma and is going to be a great addition to the factory front bumper. You're going to get a lower crash bar down at the bottom, the main body of the grille guard that's going to have a large grille cover, and then you're even getting brush guards on the outside for your headlights. Now, this is going to be made of a heavy-duty steel material and is going to have reinforced bars on the grille cover itself as well as on the brush guards on the outside, ensuring that this is going to be able to handle whatever you throw at it, whether you be out on the trail or even driving around on the street. Now what I really like about it is the gloss black finish. Now obviously that's going to protect that steel underneath from any rust or corrosion, but I personally think it gives this thing a really sleek look mounted up to the front of our Tacoma. Not to mention this is also going to come with light mounting options on the front of the grille guard or the main body of the grille guard. Now this is going to be perfect if you are looking to have mounting locations on the front end of your truck for some additional lighting, either some pod lights or a light bar, giving you that extra visibility out of the front end of your Tacoma on dark back roads or even dark trails. So with all that being said, this is going to come in at roughly $550, and I think that that's a very fair price point for what you're getting in this kit as far as the quality and the construction goes. Now, in comparison to some other options for front end protection for your truck on the category page, this is going to be right in the middle. So there are going to be options for bull bars that will cover just some of the front bumper that are great for that lower end protection, but aren't going to give you as much coverage up around the grille area. Then you're going to see a lot of bumper options that are going to require to remove the factory front bumper and do a little bit of modification for a full front bumper replacement. In my personal opinion, I think if you're not looking for the hassle and the cost of upgrading to a new front bumper, but you're looking for more than a bull bar and a lot of protection for the front end of your truck, then this is going to be a great option to take a look at. Install is going to be very easy as well. At a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, you're going to need some very basic hand tools to get the job done in about 45 minutes worth of your time. So speaking of that install, let's jump into that now. The tools that I used for my install were an impact wrench, a 10mm deep socket, a 16 and 17mm socket, a 3/16 inch Allen socket, the provided Allen key, a 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch drive ratchet, a 13 and 16mm ratcheting wrench, and a 17mm open-ended wrench. So before we head over to our truck, we do have to put our brush guards on the main body of our grille guard. You're going to need the button head bolts that are provided, as well as the flat washers and the nylon lock nuts. So we're going to start on the driver's side with this brush guard. We're going to have 3 mounting locations on the brush guard itself, and you're going to see them match up over on the main body of our grille guard. Now we're going to go ahead and line this up, and I'm going to start at the bottom mounting point. Put our button head bolt through and our flat washer. Other flat washer and nylon lock nut on the other side. And that should hold it in position to get the other 2 installed. So next we can move up to our next mounting location after our first one is secure. You're gonna have to mess with the brush guard in order to get it on. Angle it correctly in order for it to line up. But once you get some hardware in, everything should line up just fine. So now that our second one's in, we can move up to our third one. And we don't want to tighten anything down just yet. We want to make sure that everything lines up correctly. Right? Now we can grab our tools and tighten everything down. Now with a 3/16 inch Allen socket as well as a 13mm ratcheting wrench, we can go ahead and tighten these bolts up. Then we can move down the line. And then last but not least, we can tighten up the one at the back. Right, what we can do now is repeat that process for the passenger side brush guard. Now that our grill guard is fully assembled, what we can do now is prep our Tacoma for the grill guard to be mounted up. So first we have to take off this lower air dam. You're gonna need a 10mm socket and an impact wrench or a ratchet. So on our air dam, we're gonna have a number of bolts holding on the front of the air dam, but on either corner, we're gonna have 2 on the back. Now those are gonna be a little bit difficult to see, but they're gonna be the same size. So you're gonna use a 10mm socket to remove those. And they're gonna be located roughly in the same location, just on the back of the air dam. So now we can go ahead and take off the ones at the front. Again, I'm using a 10mm socket. Last but not least, we have the 2 on the back. All right. So once all of the bolts are removed, we can fully remove our air dam. So our next step is to install our mounting brackets, but first we have to remove this bolt on the lower frame. I'm gonna use a 17mm socket to do so. We're just gonna put that to the side. We will be reusing that, and then we can head up to the hole in the frame right above it. So this may be a little bit difficult to see, but right above that hex bolt that we removed, there is going to be a hole in the frame, and we can take our provided flag bolt and wedge that in, and we can hold that in place with the plastic retainer. So once that retainer is up against the frame there, we can grab our bracket and align everything up. What we can do next is take our driver's side bracket and align it with our mounting location. So right now I'm just gonna hook it around our bolt there, or our flag bolt that we just installed. And then we can line it up at the bottom mounting location and reinstall our factory bolt. Once that's threaded in, we just want to get the hardware for our flag bolt on. So it's going to be the provided lock washer, flat washer, and nut. After those are on, we can tighten everything down. What we can do next is tighten everything up. So I'm going to start with our frame bolt using that same 17mm socket. Once that's tightened up, we can work on our flag bolt here. I'm going to use a 16mm ratcheting wrench since we don't have a lot of room since our bumper is right here. All right, now we can repeat that process on the other side. So now that we have our main mounting brackets installed, what we need to do next is install our support brackets. So for that, we're gonna have to pop our hood and go behind our grill. So in order to reach the mounting location for our support brackets, we do have to remove our grill. I'm gonna start by removing the top 2 bolts using a 10mm socket. Now on either side of our grill, we also are going to have 2 clips, so I'm going to use a trim removal tool in order to remove those. So again, I'm using a trim removal tool. You could also use a flathead screwdriver for this, or any other pry tool. All right, so we can do the same thing for the other corner. Now we'll be able to pull out our grill. So we can raise these 2 front support arms off of those plastic retainers there, give it a good pull, and fully remove our grill. Our first step to installing our support bracket is to place our flag bolt inside our radiator support. Right next to our cooler here, there is going to be a hole down at the bottom of the rad support. So I'm going to take that flag bolt, go around the back. There's going to be an opening where we can sneak that in. And then we can line it up with that hole and drop it through. Now I'm going to secure that down with the plastic retainer here. It's maybe a little bit difficult. Just push that on or thread it on. What we can do now is take our driver's side support bracket, making sure that the L without the tab is facing the inside. That's what's going to be attached to our flag bolt down there. And then on the other side, we're going to have a tab. This is going to support our grill guard. So I'm actually going to put this through our grill here, or our bumper. Actually, I want to go to that lower one. I'm going to kind of let that hang out for the time being. Grab our hardware, which is the flat washer, lock washer, and nut, and we can secure the support bracket down to our hardware. Then we can tighten that up with a 16mm socket, making sure that we're supporting the bracket while we're tightening it. Right. Then we can repeat that process for the other side. We can repeat that same process on the other side, and it is going to be a little bit easier on this side since we don't have to worry about a cooler. Now we can go ahead and reinstall our grill now that our support brackets are installed. Right, starting with the bolts up at the top. We can tighten those up with the 10mm socket. And then we can reinstall our pins on each corner. Right, now we can close up our hood and install our grill guard. So at this point, if you would like to reuse your factory air dam, you can. You will have to make some small cuts in order for the brackets to go through. So essentially what you would do is just line it up, mark it, and cut it where you need to. We are not going to do that. This is just for demonstration purposes. So I'm gonna put this aside and we're gonna mount up our grill guard. So what we can do next is secure down to one of the mounting locations on the bottom. I just have the grill guard laying flat. We're using the X bolts, 2 flat washers, a lock washer, and a nut. We can do that on either side. Then we can flip this up and secure it up at our support arm. What we can do now is swing it up into place. And then now it's lining up with our mounting location. We can put both of our bolts through on either side, right? So we can secure it down with that button head bolt, 2 flat washers, a lock washer, and a provided nut. Once we have one side installed, it'll stay in place and we can secure down the rest of the hardware. Now that we're underneath our Tacoma, we can start on the driver's side by securing the rest of the mounting points down. I'm going to use the same hex hardware with the 2 flat washers and a lock washer and a nut. So what we're going to do is just thread these on. We're not going to tighten them down completely. We want to make sure that everything is mounted up and sitting correctly before we do that. Once these 3 are threaded on, what we can do is repeat that on the other side, and then we can tighten everything down. So once we've confirmed that our grill guard is in the correct placement, what we can do is tighten down these bolts. So I'm going to use a 17mm socket for the bolt head and a 17mm wrench for the nut side. We can repeat that on the other side. Next, we can tighten down our support bracket bolt. I'm going to use the provided Allen key as well as a 17mm wrench. Right, and we can repeat that for the other support bracket bolt. So in the kit, you are provided with light mounting brackets. Those are going to be mounted up right at the bottom of the grill guard here, or the main body of the grill guard. Now, we are not installing any lights, so we're not going to install these, but these would mount up either like this or on the side. You can mount a light bar here or individual pod lights, and you'll be using the button head hardware that we use to attach the brush guard ends with the light mounting brackets. But that's gonna wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe, and for more videos and products like this, always keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.